Greetings and welcome to Theology, Geek, Fitness. I'm Johnathan Pritchett, and today I am going to give a review of Undersun Fitness's Lean Build. I'm a fan. This is the meal plan or the nutrition plan that I've been using since I decided I wanted to start bulking up, and I really like it, so I wanted to go over it a little bit. You can get it for $49. Sometimes they have discount codes if you search for it, or $10 off coupons. I used a $10 off coupon and was able to get it for $39. And it is a really good deal for several reasons. Not just because it gives you the meals to eat and it's already taken the time to figure all the meal plans out for your macros, you know, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats. It's got the portions down relative to your body size. So it's takes out a lot of the hassle and thinking, especially the calorie counting that I had to do when I was losing weight and then readjusting for when I wanted to maintain. And then now with this, it's really based on taking in more calories than you expend in a day, you know, so that you will gain weight and gain weight the right way. And I think, given my progress, I'm happy with the results. It could be a lot worse, you know. And I do follow, you know, if I tried this more or less on my own. Now, as a point of disclosure, I only follow this on days that I exercise. And because my wife cooks 4 nights a week and I cook 2 nights a week, and then we have a, you know, what we call a fend for yourself, some of the things that my wife cooks, it's hard to transfer the principles of this meal plan to some of the meals that she fixes. Not very many of them, but there's sometimes, like, if she makes chicken spaghetti for dinner, it's got a lot of, you know, cheese and noodles and chicken and you know, cooked in there and whatever, and that's nowhere close to the kind of thing you find on this menu. So I have to eat like just a little bit and know that I've thrown my meal plan out the window for certain meals that we do like to eat. So I don't follow this it's hard to when you're a part of a family and you eat together more often than not, and some of the things that everyone likes is not what, which I like too, by the way. I mean, that's the stuff that I like to eat, but you know, some of the meal plans are not as easily transferable to this as you would need it to be able to follow this to a T if you're in my situation where you have to eat what everyone likes, and you know, you don't want to go crazy eating the same thing. So I don't follow this 100%, you know, 7 days a week, but I do follow it for the most part. And my wife does cook a lot of meals that are compatible with this plan, so more or less is not typically a problem. And then on the days that I don't work out, I don't follow this plan, to be honest. So that helps work around the things that my wife cooks that don't really fit on here. It works around the things that I like to cook and eat that don't really work on here. But what I try to do on those days is try to make those days calorie neutral, if nothing else, so that I don't, you know, gain any unwanted whatever. So, but following this, if you can eat whatever you want, excuse me, for every meal, highly recommend it. But I also recommend it because, like I said, some of the things, the principles in there, if you're not eating their menu items, you can still more or less follow those same principles with whatever is cooked, except for certain things, of course. Excuse me again. But I want to go over a little bit, if you haven't watched any previous videos, that last year from April of 2019 to October 2019, I went from 220 pounds to 145 pounds, which was a 75-pound loss. Got really fit and pretty wiry, actually. And looking at that, I was like, I was happy with that because it's obviously better than where I started. And I maintained that through the holidays and then the first part of the year until lockdown. And when lockdown happened, I decided, you know what, I want to get a little bit more muscle mass. I want to be a little bit bigger than this. So I decided I was going to try to build muscle and then try to do it, of course, without access to the gym because everything was locked down. And I discovered that and became convinced that you can build muscle with resistance bands. And so I've been doing that ever since, and a few other things. You can see other videos for the kinds of equipment I use, but mostly based around resistance bands, the loop bands. Oops, there goes the light. So, a little while ago I shot another video and I showed a picture of me at 156 pounds. And so, steadily building up some mass and staying relatively lean. And then yesterday, I posted a video where I was at 160 pounds, and so I'm steadily gaining weight and still have a pretty decent physique. When you bulk up, I was warned that no matter what anyone claims, you're still going to put on a little bit of excess body fat. That has happened, but my theory is as long as I can still be relatively lean and see my physique still look decently when I check myself out in the mirror to make sure I'm not gaining any sort of unwanted body fat or whatever, then I'm fine accepting a little bit of that as a byproduct of just bulking up. So maybe if I followed this to the T, I would look like I did at 145 except at 160, but there's no way of knowing that, and I doubt it. So you're just eating more, and so that's bound to happen. So it's still, I'm relatively pleased with my physique as I've gained weight. So overall, I can't complain. My goal is to get up to about 160 to 165, but be completely shredded. So I need to continue to bulk up and gain weight, get the muscles as big as I can get them before I start cutting the weight back to get that shredded calisthenics type look. And when you do that, you're going to lose some of the muscle gains as well as getting your body fat down to as low as possible. So I still got some more weight to gain. So I'm going to continue on with this, and we'll see how it goes and how it shapes up. So as long as I'm staying with a pretty decent physique as I bulk up, I'm happy, and this meal plan has done that for me in addition to my exercise regimen. So so far so good. Very pleased with it. The plan is based around 6 meals a day: a breakfast, a post-workout, a lunch, a mid-afternoon meal, dinner, and then a before-bed dinner, or before-bed meal. And it's lots of protein. It seems like I'm dumping protein powder 3 or more times a day, and that's new for me. I didn't do that at all when I took no supplements in my weight loss. I took no supplements in my maintaining, and then, I needed to get protein powder to bulk up and build muscle. So I did, and I followed this plan. This plan calls for isolate protein. I don't use isolate. I just use the normal whey, Body Fortress, Walmart, whatever, and it's fine. It's been fine for me anyway. So that's what I had before I started this plan, because I knew that before I bought this and was still researching plans or whatever, I was just trying to take in more calories and bulk up, and the first thing you read is you need to take protein. So I got some before I started this, and it's still not, you get a lot of it, so it's worked fine, so I just stay with that anyway. The portions are based on your hand size, so it's kind of, the way you coordinate it is if your meal calls for a piece of meat or chicken, fish, whatever, it's lay your hand flat over it and cut around it, and that's how that's the size of your portion on meat. If it says you need rice, then you make a fist or whatever, and you make a pile of rice the size of your fist. And so you have your meat and it really doesn't tell you how much greens, like lettuce or kale or whatever, because those calories are so negligible. I guess you can just however much you think you want, but it's usually whatever your carbs is, and then in your fats, like when it tells you get avocado, say X amount of finger lengths worth of avocado, so slices this size. So all of the different things, everything in there tells you it's by your hand. Lay your hand over the green beans, and whatever's under your hand is how many green, stuff like that. So it's really easy to do food prep. And the meal macros on your, how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats or whatever, it's really based on percentages. So the meal will be like, 40% proteins and 16% carb, or stuff like that, or some of the more higher carb meals like your post-workout meals got more carbs in it than protein percentage. That's how they break it down. So you're not even counting grams following their meal plan. You're not counting calories, and so that makes it really easy. And the percentages, for whatever reason, vary throughout the different meals. So as far as like sticking to it and following it and whatever, it's about as easy as it can possibly be to prep. And I usually do my food preps on Sundays and Wednesdays. So you can do all that in about an hour and make all of your meals, except for a few things. So the post-workout meal and breakfast, I make what I need to make right then when it's time to eat. But for the rest of the stuff, you can pre-prep most all of it, and it's ready to go, and just put them in containers and stuff. Super easy. So if you need a plan that takes a lot of the math and all that stuff out of it, I highly recommend this. It's worked well for me so far. I have no complaints. So the pros, the meal selection for everything but the post-workout meal, you get 8 different choices, but the post-workout meal is the same every day. But for the other 5 meals, eight different things to choose from. The meals go anywhere from, they're okay, to, man, that's really good. It has nothing bad in it. I've never found a meal in this plan that I didn't like. There's also nothing spectacular in it, but you're not going to find that on foods that are healthy. Let's just be honest. The things that I find spectacular are not really good for you. So if you're anything like me, you're going to be like, well, this is really good. It's not the best thing I've ever had, and it's not going to be. But you will eat good every day that you follow this plan. So the meals are on average good. So there you go. Some are really good, some are just okay, but overall they're good. Nothing mind-blowing and nothing awful. Another pro is, like I said, this hand measuring system for your portions. Super easy. And so it just takes a lot of the thought out of it. They tell you what to eat and how much to eat based on the different things you do with your hands. Great. Super easy. Love it. The grocery list is mostly affordable items. There's I discovered, and since I didn't like it anyway, I skipped this meal because I think there's only one that asked for it. But ground chicken is a little bit pricey. And I didn't really care for it, so that's one thing. But most of the things on there, and the MCT oil is ridiculously expensive, so I just skip that because you don't use it but a few things, and it doesn't really add anything in my opinion. I know it's supposed to be good for you, but it's like ridiculously expensive, so it's like forget that too. But everything else on it's mostly just affordable stuff, chicken breasts and tuna steaks, and if you go to the right supermarket or grocery store or discount foods like an Aldi's or Ruler's outlet type thing, you can get all this stuff real cheap. Another pro is it takes out a lot of your thinking about it and your math. You're just like, fine, I'll go with it. I'll just follow these instructions as written, and I'm good. What I really like about it, and I talked about it earlier in this video, was that the principles in there are transferable to other things. So like some of the things that I like to cook and some of the things that my wife likes to cook, they're not anywhere close to this menu. But if it's a meat and a side that's like the rice or the quinoa or something like that, or it's vegetables that you're used to eating like asparagus, broccoli, whatever. So if my wife cooks something or I want to cook something that's not on one of these menu items, I can still transfer the principle and know what kind of portions I need, and know pretty much because I followed this what is, and just general knowledge, and what are fats, what are where are your proteins, how much carbs are in these food items, and you could think, yeah, so I need to stick with that, and you could more or less hit those target percentages for the macros for each meal in Lean Build with other types of food, And doing this, you can also, the things that you're already cooking in your menu, like you or your wife already cooks, you can figure it out for most things. Like if you're having chicken spaghetti, like I talked about earlier, no way, forget about it. But I mean, there are basic foods and stuff. It's not going to work for lasagna or pastas or whatever, but for most things that you like to eat, you can transfer those principles to other foods and be fine. And like I said, it's an affordable plan. It's $50, but you can usually get a discount code somewhere for $10 off or X amount of percentage off or whatever. So for me, it's well worth the price. And because the menu item prices are affordable too, you save a ton of money here. It's a good money saver. The principles alone that transfer to other things that you eat as well, just the idea behind this thing more so than the menu, I think is worth the price alone. But like I said, the food's good, the menu's easy, the grocery list is easy. So all of that's just, to me, it's bonus. It was learning what they're doing, how they're breaking up their macros by the percentages, why you eat certain things at certain points of the day or whatever. Takes a lot of the thinking out for you. It kind of gives you some clue as to what they're thinking with just eating in general for building lean muscle. So that's worth the price. Some cons: it would get rather limiting over time if you didn't do some extra work to think about how to transfer those principles to other food, which means looking at other foods and their nutrition data and all that stuff and thinking your way through that. It doesn't really include tips for cardio. I'm still doing cardio. I have my little pedal station. I do some, but it's designed to go with a muscle building exercise routine. But if you're not following any specific plan, it doesn't really tell you, well, if you do too much cardio, you're going to just burn too many calories. So you kind of got to do some guesswork with that. I don't recommend doing no cardio because, I always think in the back of my mind, if you're a former overweight person like I am, you're always scared that because you're eating a massive, like another pro that I didn't put on this, I'm never hungry because you're eating a massive amount of food. It's all healthy. And on average, it's probably lower calories per meal than what you're normally eating, whatever fast food and all that other stuff. So it's healthy calories, but it's a lot of food, eating 6 times a day. But if you're formerly overweight, you're constantly living in fear of, one steak too many is going to lead me spiraling down to that. So you're always, doing a little bit of cardio to keep it off. There are some videos, but not very many. And I mean, Food Network's a thing for a reason, and there's not a lot of videos of watching them prep and cook the food. Some of the meals have videos included when you click on it. Most don't. And it's like, I like to watch that kind of thing. So that's a con. And the guys behind Undersun, James Grage, and then the guy that he tapped to help with this, one of the trainers that I guess he works with, Tyrone Bell, awesome guys. But this program doesn't really give you a lot of the minutia behind what they're doing and why they do it, which is typical of James Grage, at least. Look him up on YouTube. He's got a YouTube page. Everything is super helpful that he talks about, especially if you're working out with resistance bands. He's just a really awesome guy. And he's got a good podcast too. You can find that on their website. But all his videos are great to watch. I've learned a lot from his videos, and he explains things really well, and he breaks it down for the type of people who watch this. You're theology geeks. You want to know the minutia. You want to know the details. You want to know how it works. And he's really great about that. But this plan didn't come with a lot of content that really breaks down what you're doing and why, which I was rather shocked by, because James Grage usually breaks down everything, and I figured people he worked with would have that same way of doing things. But unfortunately, that's not much of that in this program. So I would say that it's I hope they shoot some videos and really maybe it's because it hasn't, I don't know, it just has the people who this is targeting already know more than people like me, but it would be super helpful. I don't know. But still, it's worth getting, and I just trust it because I haven't gone wrong following anything from Undersun. So really good company, really good people there. But I got into James Gray's during the quarantine because I was trying to figure out what to do with resistance bands. I don't use Undersun bands, but I have friends who do. The only reason why I didn't is because they were out of stock when I was trying to get a hold of some bands, and some other company had some in stock. I got the notification, bought it, and if I was in the market, I'd get his bands, but I'm happy with the bands that I got. But the only reason why I didn't use that company's bands is because they weren't available when I was in the market for them. So, but if you're wanting to get into resistance bands, they've got resistance band training programs, all of that stuff. Everything he does is great. So I want to plug the company as well as plug this meal plan. I do wish that they would put out more nutrition content related specifically to this plan, at least for those of us who bought it, why you're doing what you're doing, because that kind of stuff I think is really cool, and they usually do that kind of thing. They usually have that kind of information, but not very much of it here. It's just like quick videos that kind of overview it, but not any of the science and mathematics and all the cool stuff that you normally find with them. But that's not a deal breaker by any means. That's for the geeks, and this is Theology, Geek, Fitness, and if you're a theology geek, you're a geek on just about everything in culture anyway. So there you go. So the bottom line is I highly recommend this. Get it. And as a little bonus, I want to recommend this for people who are trying to lose weight, but you have to scale it. But I do think, and they don't say this, they don't probably would. I don't know that they would actually vouch for me on this, saying this. I don't know if they want to say, yeah, go for it. They don't know who I am. I never met these people, never talked to these people, not paid to do this, whatever. And I'm not a nutrition specialist, but my hunch is that you could scale this same plan if you're trying to lose weight. And the way that I figured out that you could do it is simply cut the following things out of this plan. So like if you want, I need to figure out a good diet while I try to lose a bunch of weight like this guy did. You can do it if you do these things. You cut the post-workout and the before-bed meals. Cut those out. Okay? Cut out all this added protein powder stuff, because that's a lot of calories, by the way. As much protein as they're having protein shake powder stuff that you're dumping into different things throughout the day, cut that out. Because they have it on their website advertisement, I will tell you what one of the meals is. One of the meals for breakfast is just 2 scrambled eggs and a protein shake. If you just cut out the protein shake and eat 2 scrambled eggs, for example, for that one breakfast out of the 8 that they have, hopefully they won't get mad for me giving away this information, but it's 2 scrambled eggs. Come on. That's 140 calories, right? So you cut out the protein shake, which is going to be several, 200 some odd calories on top of that. Just cutting that out. You eat 2 eggs for breakfast. You don't do the post-workout meal, and you go straight to lunch. You're already not eating a lot of calories. So cut out 2 meals, cut out all the protein powder business. I mean, I know protein shakes are good for people who are working out, but if you're trying to lose weight, just don't worry about it. I lost all the weight that I lost without protein powders. And then for the other 4 meals that you eat, for breakfast, lunch, afternoon, and dinner, cut the portions by 1/4. Just doing those 3 things, I think, will make this a great weight loss diet. The Undersun Fitness probably, I don't know what they'd say about that. They're probably coming up with a weight loss nutrition plan. Maybe it'll be something similar to what I'm recommending, maybe completely different, because I'm not a nutrition specialist. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, I look at what it is and think, if I ate this while I was trying to lose weight, that would have hit my, somewhere in the ballpark of 1,500 calories per day, and it would have been probably better food than what I was eating on my weight loss diet. So for those reasons, whether you're trying to bulk up some lean muscle build, or you're trying to lose weight and you're looking for something easy to try to lose weight, if you scale this, I think it'd be good for that too. So there you go. I'm going to link the product in the description, and I hope that you found this video helpful, and go try it if you're looking for a good nutrition plan to build lean muscle, and maybe even if you're trying to lose weight and you need some meal ideas, there's a little bonus there at the end for you. So thanks for watching, and God bless.